like
this
it.
is what.
Is that samba or bossa nova? It's more samba. I love.
Yeah. Right there.
Brazilian stuff.
That's it. That's the vibe that we come in on. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. So this is the
Sade singing.
PPC podcast. Yeah. So here we are. Here we are with Mr. Sam, Mr. Scott, and myself on the PPC podcast. We got a special one this week. You guys have been saying this is not exciting. Exciting. What's been the vibe here? What's been the tone?
Oh wow. I don't know.
It is exciting. It's a bit, like we were saying, a bit nervous. This is a little bit out of Sam and I's element to be
the uncertainty of it.
Speaking, and now we're speaking with headphones and mics, which is
Yeah, but I'm excited.
We're stepping out of the comfort
You're excited?
zone today.
Good.
I'm
if you're excited, I'm excited.
Yeah, because honestly, and I said this before, and you didn't believe me, but honestly, you guys are some of the most interesting people in the church, in my opinion. Honestly, and this is just, I'll preface it with this. It's from the random left field stories that I've heard that I would have never expected. and it never, there's more and more, you know? There's a bunch of them, and so we'll be able to tap into some of them here. But we always start off the podcast with the LWAC. You know the LWAC?
I don't know what that is.
Last week at church.
Okay.
It's just a little reflection, something that happened last week. What's something that you can remember that you can discuss? Maybe it's a little moment that happened. Sunday.
I said hi to the most amount of people I ever did on a Sunday.
Wow. That's notable.
Deal.
That's definitely nototable.
All right.
That is sweet.
Nice job.
I shook hands.
That's a win.
I felt like I shook hands and kissed babies for a couple hours straight.
What's your go-to like when you meet somebody for the first time? What's your go-to? What do you say?
Hi. No, I don't know.
Do you have one? Is it like, hey, how are you doing? Nice to meet you. Is it?
Yeah. Usually
do you give them a rundown or something?
Yeah. What's up?
Oh, what's up? What's up? My name's Scott.
Doing?
How are you doing?
I don't know. Sometimes I don't always divulge my name and all that.
Sometimes
I just leave it at, hey, what's up? Good morning. Something like that.
What about when you're meeting somebody? Like if you're getting lunch with somebody for the first time, what's your run through? What are the basics that you go through? You know what I mean? Like there's always a set, like, all right, usually it's, this is where I'm from. This is kind of what I'm into.
I don't even
None of that?
I hold back on that, yeah.
Really?
I can go, my name is Scott Slate, and then it's like...
and you'll find out about me the next however long it takes.
It takes a little bit of time to get the rest of that out.
Wow, you stick with the name.
I think mine is, I can easily say without thinking, hi, I'm Sam, I'm from Aruba, while I read them. And they don't have to say, oh, where are you from? You look a little different. No. We can just nip that in the bud so we can talk about something else.
Yeah. Sometimes I go for the, when it's the, hey, oh, where are you from?
Yeah.
I like to toss in. I like to have fun with it. And I'm like, I'm from, America. And they're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, my dad born in, America.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, but like, where are you? And I'm like, what? No, I was born in Boston.
I'm from Nebraska. Where are you from?
But it's fun, and then eventually we get to the, my dad's Brazilian and all this stuff. But I think usually when I first meet somebody, it's name. I think age is one of the first things that somebody asks me.
I stay away from that.
Yes, I just get it because it's like I think I give off a weird, like I confuse people.
Yeah.
People think I'm older.
You know that they're like digging what they're digging for, the info they're asking. And
Yeah.
You just kind of hold back a little bit and play with them a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
bit.
yeah.
When you're first meeting them, you're goofing on them a little bit.
100%. 100%.
I know where you're going, but I'm just gonna
have
some fun with this.
Yes, exactly.
I got you.
Exactly. And then I go very heavy on them. I want to get to know everything. I want to figure you out, and I want to see what's happening here.
It's an easy deflection when you throw the ball back in their court, and you're like, okay,
right.
You tell me, you do the talking, I'll do the listening.
Yeah, exactly. So you both have been here for a minute. You've been here for a long time. How long you been here exactly?
We have a minute or two.
Yeah. I'd say about a dozen.
A good while.
Dozen years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
I think we've known. I've known the church probably for about 14.
Dang.
But it feels like yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me and time don't do well. Time is very complex, so it's understandable.
Yeah.
You know?
So if you look at, so you've been here for that long. If you look at what's happened over the past year with all this stuff that's been going on, the revival stuff, the amount of growth that we've been going through as a church, what's a moment to you that stands out? That's like you remember it. That's a special moment to you.
In the past year?
In the past year, yeah.
A moment that stands out to me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You got one?
Well, I mean, obviously, I think it's like the big moments. There's things that you prepare for, like for sacred season. You're going into Sacred Sunday, fasting, praying, ready for something to go down, something to happen. So Sacred Sunday is always, at least for me, it was a big, because of the preparation that goes into it. Yeah. That's always a big Sunday. Getting to pray, I get the opportunity to pray for other people in the front there. So, doing that and then following up and hearing the stories later in the year of the things that we prayed about is always pretty awesome. And this year, I thought Pentecost Sunday was really
nuts. Yeah.
That was off the chain, because I'd said before, like that Sunday, I remember, we just sat in the room there in the sanctuary and just, you didn't want to leave. Like there was so much expectations in the room, and you could feel like it was almost a tangible feeling, like something was going to happen. Like, don't walk out that door because something awesome is about to happen. And you did. We sat in that room, and it felt like all day, all night that you just wanted, it was there. God was there. And you didn't want to leave because you didn't want to miss what was about to happen. Yeah,
we've talked about those moments a lot recently, about the just being still because he's so tangible right there, and it's like I don't want to leave. Like I don't even want to move. I just want to sit here and soak this up. I want to be a sponge. There's no words
or action.
It's just I want to sit in your presence. Yeah. And we were talking about how we should go on like a little camping trip and not like together, not together. Separate tents, everybody's apart, but it's literally just you, a Bible, pick a book, read a couple verses, sit on like 4 verses for like 3 days and just listen. It's like, that'd be sick. Like I'd love that, What's your moment over the past year?
Man, I don't even know where to start. Let me see. Sacred season was awesome. My patience, I think, really got tested because I started almost feeling like my sacred season prayers were almost like a Christmas wish list.
Right.
And then I started thinking, man, am I kidding myself or something, But sacred season was off the chain. And getting baptized and rededicated, man, that's the biggest for
a huge moment.
This year, last year, whatever that is. Yeah. Yep.
I remember that. Yeah. I remember you walking up, man. It was electric.
Yeah, that was a big moment.
That was huge.
And tears that time.
It was 100%. The whole room. It was awesome.
That was the limit.
I remember that. Awesome. Going back to the first impression thing, what do you think your first impression is when somebody meets you? What's like the first thing that they?
What do I think their first impression is?
Yeah. It's a weird one, but like, what do you think is the first thing that you give off? You feel like you're very reserved initially? Do you feel like you come off very bubbly?
I try to be reserved, but I think everybody thinks I'm loony.
Loony?
Yeah.
What do you think that is? You think it's your eyes? You think the way you look?
Crazy eyes.
Yeah?
That's a little bit on the true side.
See?
So, I mean,
and then I say, no matter how hard you try to hide it, you can only hide crazy so long. It always comes out. No, I don't know. I mean, I hope to have a good first impression, but you never know.
Yeah. I feel like my first impression is generally, who is this guy?
Yeah.
I feel like I think I give off the very reserved kind of, but also very I'm interested in you. I want to get to know you, but I don't say much about me.
And it gets different in a certain whatever situation you could be in if you're meeting somebody. Because I know from being here, being here for a while, you get comfortable here. It's almost like you're welcoming somebody to your house. So you're
Yeah,
able
yeah.
to go, hey, good morning, how you
100%.
doing?
Yeah, my church first
But if
impression is
you're-
super different.
Yeah.
Because it's an environment that's like, I want you to feel welcome.
Yeah.
That's kind of the,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It is like a welcoming
Come on
somebody
in.
into your home,
Yeah.
you know? I think when I'm like, if I'm meeting somebody for the first time and it's like, I'm meeting my cousin's friend, it's very, I'm interested in you. I'm not going to say much about me type of thing. What do you think your first impression is?
Well, I think that's part of for me. Because I am I am fairly reserved, quiet. I have been told that I come across as not very nice
Really?
sometimes.
Like
because
stern, like you're on a
because I
mission.
am. Just because I don't like to talk, so I'm
Right.
kind of like standoffish a bit. So some people take it, kind of roast people that, but then after a while, you talking to them, it does take that time. I
And it's
kinda
like, I can't get enough of this
wear
guy.
them down a little bit,
Yeah.
and then they really don't like.
No,
I
no,
was
no.
right about that guy.
So
Yeah.
Scott, we've talked a bunch about if we had a podcast. I've said we need to name it Coffee Breath, and it's us drinking some coffee. I don't have my coffee. You got your coffee with you.
I usually don't travel far without.
It's not too far. So we've had this conversation of us having that podcast together, and you are a world renowned the coffee man.
He is.
You are the coffee man.
He is.
He is the coffee man.
He has a whole operation and everything.
Yes. You are known as the coffee man. Whether or not you want to agree with it or not, you are known as the coffee man. So I want to know, how did you become the coffee man? And what is the second part of that is, once you get through that story, what is your biggest coffee pet peeve? I'm very curious. or do you have a couple that you're like, man, I can't stand it?
Well, I do, but I don't want to offend anybody.
Do the
Oh.
most general one. Yeah. Like if it's really watery, stuff like that. Not too individual, but.
Yeah.
So how did you become the coffee man?
So, I mean, really, I never drank coffee for the longest time. Like, I've only really been drinking coffee, less than 10 years, maybe 8 years now. Growing up, never had coffee, never drank coffee really at all. Most of my life, the majority of my life, never had coffee. So in getting into coffee, it was really, I started working at a bakery in Surfside and was a delivery driver. As I was getting trained through driving, the guy was like, hey, we roast our own coffee here too. We're just getting something that started. Maybe you'd be interested in, being the second guy. If the main guy can't do it, then you could be the apprentice, the backup guy. I was like, yeah, that sounds cool. I'd be willing to do that. And eventually it just kind of took off, and then the main guy steps down, and then I'm the next guy in line, and I get to be like the coffee. They call it the roast master.
See, that's it. That's what I'm talking about. The roast master.
I got to be
The
the
roast
roast master.
That sounds
and
so official. Wow.
And I was very fortunate. Then we went to California, and I got to go to Los Angeles to Coffee Fest. And so my original training through coffee was there's to get into it, but there's all this adjustment through, you're adjusting the airflow, the flame, all this stuff that goes into it, and it became very artistic to me. You're really just kind of making all these adjustments in order to make this one bean taste, a specific roast profile or a specific way. And I went out to California with that in mind, and then I get out there and I start talking to these people and learning things, and there's just this whole science behind roasting coffee that I wasn't aware of. And then there's this like coffee roasting community that's there, and people you're able to bounce these ideas off of and say, there's guys that will look at the bean, and the bean will come out of the roaster, and they'll look at it and be like, oh, that's a hard-earned bean. And I'm like, well, wow, like they can just tell by the look of it, and it just became very awesome to be able to have these ideas and say, hey, I have this African bean. Do you have any suggestions for this one? And just the different ideas of it, the different aspects of where coffee's grown and how it's grown all around the world. I just got sucked into that world of the coffee community, and I loved it, and I've just been stuck in it, and was very fortunate to in the way that through missions, but we were able to invest in coffee down in Honduras, in the Western Territory of Honduras, and then through pastors, ideas of hey, if we can get that coffee that we've invested down in there, if we can buy that coffee, bring it up here, we roast it, we sell it, that's a full circle of investing in communities and missions, and I mean, it's one of the most beautiful things.
Yeah, it's been awesome. So that's cool. It all started with delivery. You're delivering there.
Driver.
That's sick.
And like I said, I hadn't drank coffee before. We went on a missions trip to Colombia, and we were in Fasugasuga at this little hotel,
Okay.
little cafe downstairs at our hotel. And Pastor and I had a cup of coffee. Her name was Rosa, and she gave me my first like real cup of coffee, and
changed your life.
it did.
Wow.
I remember that cup of coffee, and I've never had a cup of coffee like that since.
Really, that was your
yeah.
best coffee experience.
Yeah, I've been trying to match that certain blend, like studying coffee the way I do. I've been trying to like match that cup of coffee.
That was the
and
pinnacle moment.
Have yet to do it.
Did you have a best or worst coffee experience?
Yes. No. Well, I like my coffee thick.
Yeah.
Just on the thicker side. And I think my first coffee experience was in Miami, Little Havana or whatever.
Okay.
They had the espresso shots.
Yeah.
Man, the first time I had one, I think made the hair on my head stand up, and I probably ran for like 5 miles on the beach that day. But here, it's hard to find.
Yeah.
So if we go to New York, whatever, they sell espressos. Even espressos from other places here is not the same.
Right.
There they put like a pound of sugar, that much little black coffee in there, and it's a shot, and it's like really good.
Yeah.
But watered down coffee. When you buy coffee everywhere, a lot of times it's watered down and tastes like tea.
Right.
Muddy water, not good.
Yeah. See, I was my Vaval put coffee in my Bubba when I was baby.
Oh really?
Yeah, I had coffee. Yeah. I'd had coffee since I was a little child. So a lot of is café con leche, as a little kid. So I would say I don't know if I have a worse. I think, I can't imagine. I think I just X all those things out of my brain. I don't hold on to them.
Bad?
I don't hold on to them much. But what would you say the worst coffee pet peeves are? What are the things that are like when people do this that they don't know they're ruining it? I mean, the easy one is like, you're drinking cream with coffee.
The dessert coffees that you see now
Yep.
with the flavoring, the whipped cream and cherry on top. It's more of that's a dessert.
Right.
When they
Just
say,
get a milkshake.
I want coffee, it's like you're just going for dessert. You're looking for a lot of cream, a lot of sugar, a little bit of coffee.
Yeah.
To me, that's it. Like when they say, "Oh, let's go to Starbucks and get a coffee," and they come back with
Yeah, there it
in a
is.
cup.
There it is. Now we're opening up. Now we're getting into the good stuff. So that to me is like the easy target. But what's the thing that people do that like that they think they're doing something good, but they're not?
I don't know.
Oh, I know what he would say.
What's that?
People say that instant coffee tastes good.
Yeah.
He's like,
Like the little Keurigs?
The Keurigs.
Yeah, the
that's a little pet
Keurigs.
peeve of
Keurigs
his.
really, yeah.
Yeah.
I understand its convenience and things like that, but I try to avoid.
Yeah.
Like sometimes we get the ideas here, like we're having a conference and
Right.
somebody will say, "Oh, we'll just put the Keurig out."
Keurigs
And it's
out.
like,
Like now the coffee man's here to say, but
Yeah.
the
We are
roast
better than
master.
that.
He will not represent
The roast
that.
master's
Yeah.
here.
better than that.
Oh, I love it. So Sam, you are known for being able to fix anything.
Oh,
Would you say that's true?
Oh,
You
I
would
don't
agree
know.
with that?
That's true.
I think this is we got
I
the
don't
coffee man on
know.
my left, and we got the fix anything guy on my right.
I don't know.
And
Sometimes.
yeah, now I would say I honestly am curious about what is the one thing in this world that you can't fix. Like, is there something that you're like, I don't even try, I won't be able to?
Myself.
Oh God.
No, I don't know. No, there's a lot of things, man.
No, I feel like you could do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I
And
don't
even
know.
if he says if
if
you
he's-
hit him with something,
Right.
Like he'll
Give
go
him an
home,
hour.
study it,
Right.
he'll come back the next day,
And know it.
I try,
take your
I
car
try.
apart, put it back together.
Right.
I like challenges.
When did that happen for you? Like, were you always like that? Was there a moment like Scott had his Rosa gave him Colombian coffee moment?
Mine was, you know, you don't like nothing to stop you. There's no excuses, whatever. So my stepdad would always tell me, "Oh, tell me what you need. I tell you how to do it out." So I got tired of that and started doing stuff on my own. You know.
And that was when? How old were you?
8.
8 years old. So it all started at 8 years old. Wow.
I mean, I can't get that toy. I'll make my own. Try to make it look like it. You know.
Wow.
Yeah. 8. And from 8 on was the oldest of 10 kids. So you definitely had to do stuff on your own if you wanted anything yourself.
Yeah. And they're all coming to you, right?
Yeah.
So it's like at 8 years old, I need to change the oil in my car.
They say necessity is the mother of all inventions, right? So being poor and not having money, you got to make your own junk.
Right.
Yeah.
You couldn't go get it fixed. You just had to do it yourself. Yeah.
You got to make that work a long time. You know?
That is awesome. So if you look at your childhood though, like, was there a moment that kind of defined, like that you look back and there's a memory that like that was my childhood, or you know, is there a funny or serious story that you remember that's like, this is kind of the essence of my childhood? Like I remember this, like I remember, I don't know if I think I've told it on the podcast before, but like there was a moment where I had snuck out of the house as a little baby, like ran down the street to go like get bubble gum. And my aunt saw me on the street. My vava was watching us, but she's watching like 10 of us at least at the time. So little like toddler me was running down the street, and when they grabbed me, they asked what I was doing, and I was going to get gum.
Oh, wow.
And I've been told that story a bunch of times, where like that's a huge marker of my childhood that I remember. You know.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a moment like that, a story or something that you remember as like this is your childhood?
I mean, I tell the one a lot about. I have 4 brothers. 4 of us are a year and a half apart. So we grew up very close in age, very tight. My dad traveled a lot, so my mom, you know, was in charge of us. But with 4 slate boys, you know, we were hard to handle at times.
Yeah.
So, and we loved being outside. We loved running around. You know, I think that's one thing that stood out, was because I was always together with the crew. There was always me and the boys. So that's kind of something I carry with me today. But I tell the story that, so if we were to be at home, my mom would, after breakfast, my mom would send us outside, put a jug of Kool-Aid on the back porch and say, "You boys don't come back till lunch." And I mean, we were on our bikes, and we were, you know, at those days, we were out riding around everywhere through the neighborhood, running around the woods, building forts, stuff like that, playing ball at the courts, or, you know, going to a field playing baseball or something like that. So, you know, there was always that, we were just kind of on our own. You know, it was just us 4 together, and yeah, we were just kind of on our own at all times.
Yeah, I like that. I remember another one, me and my cousin, like we had like this, I would bring, when I went up there to Boston, I would bring my like PlayStation up there, which I remember now is like such a hassle, because me and my brother would bring our consoles, and we'd bring all the wires. So we're like going on the plane with like a whole console and wires in our bags. But I remember, like, you know, she wanted to take my my like video audio cables, so that she could play on hers, and so she took it while I was mid game. Oh, and man, yeah, she did. Yeah, it was dirty. It was messed up. And I remember the fight that we got into, and then I remember my vava sitting us down and having us back to back with each other until we were able to say "I love you." Yeah, yeah, it was terrible.
What? That's good.
Yeah. I mean, at the time, I hated it. You know, I look back and I'm like, yeah, totally, that works. You know, what, you got one?
Stuff that I remember from my childhood.
Yeah, like a story or something that you remember as a big part of your childhood.
I remember, it seemed like every time I try to do something on my own, or when I try to, you know, act grown and say, "Oh, I'm going to step out and do this," I'd always get in trouble, you know. Mm-hmm. In Aruba, we have one highest mountain. It's not really that high, but it's a cactus mountain. And me and the neighborhood kids, we decided, you know, one of us could be brave enough to climb to the top. Take your shirt on a stick and plant it like a flag. Yeah, almost to the top. I slipped and fell, rolled
No.
all the way down. It took like 4 days for my grandma to pick cactus out of me.
Oh, come on.
Every part of my body, yeah. It was crazy, yeah. But every time I try to do something big and stepping out, I think I tried to step out before I knew how to step out, you know?
Right.
We had neighbors down the road. They had 15 kids. And the youngest of the 15 kids I liked a lot. It was their only girl. But she was always getting me in trouble. Growing up, I couldn't have like white bread, white sugar, white flour, white, junk food as they call it.
Right.
But I'd go over there and she'd give me like spoons of like white sugar. Man, I loved it. It was like, yeah, I feel like the Hulk, you know? So I guess it was all a setup because one time my grandma would be like, stop going over there. You're going to get in trouble. You'll see, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, whatever. So I went there one day. I'm standing on the seesaw, just chilling, talking. She gives me a spoon of white sugar. Man, it's awesome. Then she gave me a spoon of what I thought was white sugar. Close your eyes, open your mouth. I know white sugar's coming. It was like either flour or powdered milk or something like that. Started choking real bad. Her brother jumped out the tree on the seesaw. I flew up what felt like a mile in the air. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I had to, go back home bloody. My grandma's
like the telephone wire or something like that.
Yeah, I always got in trouble for like stupid stuff like that,
Dang.
But should be lesson learned, right? I don't even think I learned it yet. Man. Hard-headed.
Man. That's
Hard-headed,
intense, man. Did you ever climb the mountain, though?
I did.
Yes.
I eventually did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
It's treacherous, but I made it. Yeah. One of the few people. Yeah.
Do you guys have a moment though you look back and you remember like spiritually, like a moment as a kid that set up your faith?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. I didn't think we were going to get into this.
Yeah, we're in here, man. We're here.
In
We're
it
here.
to win it?
In the deep end.
Okay, I'll go first to get it over with. I need you to hold my hand, though. It's intense. Okay. Well, growing up was, I don't know, very different, I guess. I guess to everybody is different, so I don't know. It's perspective, right? But I think my grandmother in Aruba was my constant, because my mom was kind of from the hippie time, and stepdad didn't really hit the picture till I was already, developed in my younger years, and just a very confusing time, and tons of traveling that young, so you don't have I was very jealous of people who had a home or a home base or a place where you felt like their heart truly lived, even though they were somewhere else, But my grandma was always my constant and said, the one thing that'll never change is the Lord and God. And she taught me about, Jesus and treating him like a father almost, in those needy moments in your youth. And I think that really stuck with me a lot through no matter where I was or whatever. You start feeling fragile and vulnerable and whatever. I think that anchored me down.
Yeah.
A lot more than not having that, you know what I mean? Which somewhat gave me moors on a ship, even though it was topsy-turvy, Yeah, I think. But that's like the biggest thing I remember.
Yeah.
In my childhood.
I had something very my grandma was very much that voice in my life.
Yeah.
And I remember just I remember those conversations, and then I remember like the little moments of like while she's cooking and she's like singing worship.
And you know what else is so
praying.
funny? Because your first reaction as a young person or a kid, whatever, is like, just dumb old grandma, always full of junk, She also told me not to walk backwards on a crack or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
Right, the crazy stuff.
But she did say, you might laugh and whatever. She told me, but wait till you really need it and try it. You'll see. Yeah. So I think a few moments like that, you do, and then you're like, wow, it really was something,
That was literally the thing that when I gave my life to Christ, I got to the place where I was like, I've heard it enough times. I've seen it. I've seen it in people. I've seen my grandma be faithful. I've seen my mom. And it was like, I guess I got to try it. Like, I guess I should, this is the only place else I can turn, God. Like, I need you.
Yeah. And the Bible I have now is not the Bible I've had for a long time. I lost that one. but a lot of spots in it from either verses my grandma told me or whatever, I would write T and a P for tried and proven. You know, that
Wow, yeah, that's awesome.
So if you just
I love that.
flick back through it, you see a lot of TPs.
TPs,
You know,
that's awesome. I love that.
But I lost it somewhere traveling, so I don't know where it is. Hopefully, whoever finds it don't even know what TP means. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. Man.
Toilet paper.
Yeah.
What about you, man?
Growing up, so I grew up in a Catholic church, Catholic
Mm-hmm.
family, going to church every Sunday. I went to a Catholic school growing up, so faith was always just kind of in our family. Like the church was in our family growing up. So just having that foundation in my life, and just knowing how. I don't know. It was just something that always stuck with me. When you were raised in it like that, it was just something that was all just kind of instilled naturally in you almost. So, and now looking back, as you grow up and you kind of step away from the Catholic faith and the church, and before you get re-found and back into the church, you realize that you were more just kind of you knew Jesus, but you didn't have a relationship with him. And I think, and again, it really wasn't until we started the family and started having, kids of our own, and that you're like, well, and you're starting thinking about how you want your family to look, and you're like, well, this is a component that was very important, I thought, for me growing up, and it's something that I want to have another component in the family that I'm raising now. So we kind of searched that out, and it now really. Say searched it out, but it almost naturally came to us.
Right.
That was God's plan that, he sent Uncle James.
Yeah, that's sick, man. That's super cool. So the thought of this is going to be very serious soon. I need to start searching it out.
It was something, and even, Maria tells the story that, it was something that Blanca brought up.
Yeah.
At a very young age, she started asking about God and things like that, and you want to have the answers,
right,
almost, and that just kind of went along again with the same feeling that both of us had, was we need this in our family, and now we need to let's put that in there. Let's start that.
Yeah. So you go from there to serving and leading and stuff. But when did missions become a thing that you stepped into?
Really, that was almost from the jump.
Was that early on, super early?
Yeah. Because that's a vision also from, the man, Pastor Jamie.
Right.
One of our first breakfasts we had, we're just kind of doing that kind of, hey, who are you kind of out conversation. And
so he breached just the name part. He breached that, and now he's on to the next.
Because we were neighbors.
Right.
So we went to breakfast, and we're sitting there talking, and like I said, first breakfast. And he brings it up, and he's like, so, what do you think about missions? Yeah, I think you and Marie would be really good in missions. And I didn't know what missions was. Like I had to ask him, like, so
like what mission?
What is that? Yeah, like
where
are we going? Who we got to rescue?
What is the mission? Should I choose to accept it?
What's the mission? Is it impossible?
Right. Yeah. But he had brought it up, and just then as getting more involved with the church, just the natural, being in the church, being accepted into the family and the church family, and then just kind of growing in that. And that's when the opportunity came across that we were going to go to Colombia. That was going to be our first trip, and just kind of it took off. I fell in love with missions on that first trip.
Yeah.
That first trip really, I know it's almost cliche to say, but it really did change my trajectory, my life. There were so many moments on that trip now that you can look back on that, impact so much of who and what I do now. And
how many years has it been since that trip?
It's only been really right now 8 years.
8 years? Yeah. Okay. So looking back at that and looking across the trips and everything, for someone like me that I've never been on a missions trip, and I can't wait till I go on my first one.
Yeah.
What are the moments that you remember that are like, these are going to be incredible things that you experience? And then what are the ones that's like, this is challenging and you might overlook this, but like these are and what like stories could you attach to that? Like what's something that happened that you could attach to that?
Oh, dude. Well, there's so many great impactful. Like I could really literally tell story, all day about missions trips. The pictures in the cafe all have stories that I could go on and on. One thing to just kind of that I like to just about it is that you don't think about that's going to happen is really we go to these places and you really are accepted into their community and their family, like almost right off the bat. They really we're going to these places where people are living below the poverty level and really are having a very hard time to have ends meet, and they are, in a phrase, rolling out the red carpet for you. They're giving you their meals. They're welcoming you into their homes, and you have that connection when that much love is being shared. You automatically have a connection with the people, and it's just something that really just kind of that ends up resonating in your heart that you can't get away from, and those moments are very special things that really had pulled me into the missions field and continuously wanting to go, because you continuously want to build those relationships and putting yourself out there like that. But a lot of the big things also for me, and it was come from, again, one of our first trips and it was introduced to me, was like the end of the day, we as a team sit around a table and we go around. So what's your impactful moment of the day? What stood out to you today? And to go around the room and to have people share, and you think like, well, this was kind of a boring day, nothing really special happened. But those are like all the days stuff, where emotions are flowing, and somebody's really had a perspective that you didn't have, and they're really kind of laying that out and sharing that with the group. And I know those are the special moments with the teams that I also love, because then these are the people that you get to come back with. Yeah. And you're back after spending and sharing those kind of moments and those times with people. You see them come in and you're looking across the foyer, and you don't see them the same anymore. It's like, hey,
you've been through something together.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's awesome. What's like real quick, what's the funniest thing that you remember happening on a mission trip that's shareable? Funniest thing.
Oh, I don't know. Nothing really jumps out.
Nothing crazy?
Be like, there again. There's so
many. Somebody's gonna get embarrassed by that.
Moments.
Somebody that you're gonna have to call out.
Nothing really jumps out.
Nothing?
At me that I was really.
You got some?
So much that. I don't have a real story that jumps out. That was real.
No chickens
funny.
chasing somebody. No. I feel like there's animal ones, right?
There are animals. There's plenty of animals that
but nothing that great.
Yeah, nothing. I mean, nothing that springs to my mind that was stood out really funny.
Yeah, I've heard. The reason I ask is because I heard this one guy talk about how instead of asking his kid every day when he gets home from school what happened today, he asks what was the funniest thing that happened today, and it was just like, I don't know, like a different way to frame it. So what was the funniest thing that happened? You've been on a mission trip, right? Mm-hmm. Do you have a funny moment?
Yeah. Well, you talked about South America. I was in Czechoslovakia, which is the Republic of Czech and Slovakia now. Yeah, and we drove from there to Athens. And I remember the day before, somebody gave me like a little baby duck. There's nothing funny about it. This is a real live little baby duck. Mm-hmm. What am I going to do with a duck? Who knows? But I remember we were in a van and looking for a place to park for the night to sleep. So we found a nice open area, nobody around, no houses, no nothing. Went to bed, woke up about 5 o'clock in the middle of a bustling market that did not stop for 3 days. Dang. Everybody set up all around us for like a couple of miles of tables, stands, livestock. It was crazy.
That's nuts, man. Yeah. Did you make it out?
3 days later, yeah.
3 days. It took you 3 days. Wow.
3 days later, everybody packed up and gone. It was a long weekend.
Dang.
Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, like I said at the beginning, I think you guys are some of the most interesting people in this place, and I've heard Pastor do this thing where he's asked you random year, Random year, time. What were you doing during this time?
Let's do that.
And I love that. I think that's right on point for what we're trying to find out here about you too. So I'm gonna ask both of you, random year and month.
Man.
And you
Even the month.
Well, I'll say like season. You know,
Close.
fall of 90.
Fall of 90.
What was happening?
That's very me and time do not go good together. I mean, time is like such a
If you had a
thing.
guesstimate,
Listen.
what was
You have
happening
to
that
ask me a question like this. Look,
quarter of your life.
the past and time is like a bead on my necklace of time, life thing, right? So I just know events as they unfold in concession. When you ask me the 1990, I don't know.
How old were you around?
1990 sounds like a really good year.
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna say my age.
Okay, if you were 20 years old, around 20 years old, let's say
I was
15.
I was young,
okay,
bright-eyed, and bushy-tailed.
okay,
And I was 20ish.
yep.
I'd probably just moved out of home. It was a great, big, exciting world full of things to absorb and experience.
Were you fixing a lot?
Well, yeah, my own gear, my stuff.
What were you doing for work?
Man, I got a job as a musician on a cruise ship
Nice.
in a show band.
There
Yeah.
it is.
Out to sea. It was fun.
Yeah.
So you were
It was
out at
really
sea.
fun, yeah. Yep.
Fall of 1990.
1990, I would have been a sophomore at Seneca Valley High School.
Okay.
Spending my afternoons at the back. You get out of school, heading to the basketball court every day.
You were a baller.
Playing ball.
Who was your favorite player at the time?
Dominique Wilkins
Nice.
was my favorite player then. And it was just pretty much, that was a lot of just hanging in the neighborhood. I remember, probably about that time, my mom does know about this, so I won't get in too much trouble, but my parents went to a pirate game,
Yeah.
and they left the car behind, and I didn't have my license at the time.
Oh, there
So
it is.
me
Yep.
and my brothers all got in the car and started driving around the neighborhood, and people are, our friends are all out on the porches and stuff like that, and they're like, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" Just driving, cruising around, and stuff
Love
like
it.
that. Yeah, that was the fall in 90.
Love it.
Yeah, I do remember that part.
What about spring of 2001? Spring of 2001.
Spring of 2001?
Where were you?
I had already been here. I'd moved here about a year earlier. So I was, me and my brother had an apartment down here. We were working at a pizzeria on 7th Avenue South, Pizza Romana.
Nice.
And really it was just living then I was like all in on the restaurant, cook, lifestyle. I mean, being here, it was, it's long hours, 10, 12-hour days, 6 days a week, just really going all fast paced, just all out in the restaurants. That's really kind of where I was at that time, was just, and me and my brother worked at it. It was like a group of 4 of us again that just kind of really ran this little pizzeria. And I mean, we were there from open to close all the time. Just, we had a big window in the front. So like, spring, bike rally, stuff like that. Just people, you could see it. You'd see the action on the outside of people just kind of cruising by. And but yeah, it was we were working hard.
Did you ever get the title of
Working
Dough
hard.
Master?
No,
No
never,
Dough Master, huh?
No.
Just Roast
No.
Master. Dang. What about you? Spring of 2001.
I don't know about spring, but I know it was 2001. It was probably the winter because I was on leave from the cruise, pocket full of money, and I was in Turkey.
Okay.
I had a master
Here we
plan.
go.
I had a master plan for my vacation, okay? Master plan. So I was in Turkey at the bottom of a mountain for about a week trying to get acclimated to the altitude because I had this crazy idea that I was going to climb that mountain and find Noah's Ark between Turkey and Russia. No, it's not even funny. It's like true, for real. The most sincere intentions. And after a week, I think you had to do like 2 weeks, whatever, right? Get the acclimation right, then you go halfway. Ararat, whatever it's called. But war or civil unrest, I don't want to say it was war, but the political climate changed between Turkey and Russia, and all foreigners had to get out. Get out, especially Americans. But I had a Dutch passport, so I thought, man, I am good. But for some reason, I guess the Dutch and the Russians are not up to par. I mean, not as bad as Americans and Russians, but yeah, so it was cut short. So I went defeated and, wind out my sail. And I vowed to try it again, and I haven't yet.
You haven't gone yet?
No, not yet, no. So now I have to try to.
This is it.
Now my wife is pretty game to a lot of my crazy ideas. Listen. My wife is pretty game to a
Noah's
lot of my
Ark.
crazy ideas. So maybe I can convince her on this one.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That'd be awesome.
The trip back.
We should take a
Find
trip.
Noah's Ark.
Man. Yeah.
Wow. You think it's still there?
It's got to be. It's got to be.
You don't think someone else discovered it by then?
It doesn't matter. At least we climbed that mountain. Yeah.
Okay, last one.
Okay, good.
Let's
We made
do winter of 08. No, summer of 08. Summer of 08.
That I
There
was
a tricky
pretty.
one?
I was pretty domesticated by that time. We were
Nothing wild by
Already
then.
here?
Yeah, we were here.
Should be here. Yep.
2008, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
and yeah, we were. I mean, that's really kind of where 2008.
When did we meet?
I want to say that's. That's kind of where we started here at the church, really.
Mhm.
And I remember that at that time. No, that wasn't. I was going to say that's when we had the marriage class, but that's not. That's kind of when I was. Me and Maria were just kind of getting together then. Moved into the house then, out in the Meadow Farms neighborhood.
Yep.
And Pastor Jamie was our neighbor. Uncle James owned the home.
You guys were already at Meadow Farms.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were just kind of that's kind of when the whole, like I said, the domestication started with Maria and I settling down at the home, and 2009 was when Roberto was born, and we got married after that, and it's just kind of that's almost
the
where
start of
the start of the journey of the Palmetto Pointe part of chapters really kind of started then for me.
You?
I don't have a clue.
What about that range of
the bridge of time that you got to
Between-
fold that paper
between
and
05 and 10? What was happening? Did you go to? You never went back to Turkey. We know that.
Yeah, no. All I know is I got married on 11/11/11.
There it is.
So I remember that.
There it is.
Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, listen, I have a reason why this new episode of my life is like everything is new again and whatever.
Right,
So
yeah.
It's hard for me to remember sometimes,
Yeah. I feel you.
So I don't know. I have a clue.
I don't know where I was.
I
at
think
08.
we met Pastor Jamie around that time.
Yeah.
Bruce was the one who invited us to
That's right.
to
That's
church
right. Yeah.
to play with
Yeah.
him. He was working at a music store, which was next to my computer store. I think Pastor Jamie came to my store a few times.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then to kick us off, to leave us here, what is one thing that over all your years of adventure and exploration, what is one thing that you would leave a let's say an 18-year-old that has just become an adult? What is one thing that you would leave them with?
Man.
It's a big old question.
Yeah.
But it has to be knocked down because the 18-year-olds sit in front of you
Big
and
old
they're
question.
wanting to know. Yeah. What would you tell them?
Man, dream big and anything's possible. I think it sounds so cliche, but don't let the things that everybody, the world, society, everything says can't be done or stop you from even trying,
Mm.
Yeah, I think. that was a big one for me.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I think so. I think it's, just let your imagination go. I think it's really, so many things that we talk about that we've been able to do was because nothing really was able to hold us back. Even if we were on our own in Turkey, or if I was, going to California or something like that, it wasn't because I needed somebody to go with me. It was, this is the experience that I'm going to have. I can share it with other people, but yet when you go out and do it, just take that, don't be afraid to take that step by yourself. Yeah. Just kind of, just really just step out of your comfort zone. Don't be held back, and just really just kind of go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I remember moments at being 18, that was such a thing. I felt like I needed to make the right decision. I feel like I needed to make the right move.
And it's not not a forever. Not all of those kinds of decisions are like as impactful as you feel like it is when you're 18. Like go out and live something, experience it.
Yeah.
And then
you'll never know if you never try.
Yeah. I remember the thing that shifted for me, and when I started working here, was it was an alignment of not looking to do the exact like perfect decision that I need to make, but finding the balance between desire and obedience to God. And that was the thing that set me up to where like I landed here, where it was like, find the thing that's like, take the step, and then find the thing that's like, God is leading me here. And so be obedient to it. And that is the place where I was like, okay, this is the next step to take,
The thing I think that hindered me for a long time was you want to take the step, but you want to take the right step, and because of that desire, you don't do anything, and you build all those roadblocks.
Yeah, you look for the biggest step.
As the roadblocks get higher and thicker and wider, you'll never do nothing. Sometimes you just gotta step out.
Yeah.
I don't want to say step out by faith, because that's such a big word. You need like 5 podcasts to talk about the word faith, but just step out somehow. Step out,
I would say that too. I would say, find the balance between desire and obedience to God, and I would say, step out. Look for the next step to take.
The next step,
it doesn't need to be the perfect biggest step, but look for the next step to take.
So I guess what you're saying is, don't let not knowing what the next step is exactly cripple you from taking any step.
Right.
Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah.
And don't look for the 10th step to take the first step.
You can't.
Yeah. You don't have it figured out. It's you got to look at it as the experience, the learning. You're going to learn it. You don't have to have it figured out before you do it. You can learn as you're doing it, and enjoy that.
As you're trying to figure it out, you'll learn this: the more you know that you know, the more you know that you don't know.
Oh, come on, man!
What?
The more you know that you know that you know.
The more you know that you know. The more you know that you don't know.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. I like that. I like that a lot. If it was abbreviated, it would be TMUKNK. I'm not gonna try.
Spitting some fire.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. Had a blast this time with my man Scott, my man Sam. Love you guys. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and thanks for checking us out. We'll be back next week. Peace.